Now to the stage, one of my favorite girls in town, Jazmin Farraj. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hi, I'm Jazmin Farraj, and by day, I'm a public servant. Off the clock, I serve the community in a different way through birth chart readings, which are a map of your journey ahead. It's who you are and can be emotionally, romantically, and professionally. Both roles are about care, just through very different tools. I was once 18, drinking cappuccinos at the only bookstore in town, reading and learning about astrology very pointedly after friends told me it wasn't real. Challenge accepted. And after a few real adult jobs and insomnia so severe I temporarily lost sight of myself, I had, in the spiritual world, what's called a first dark night of the soul, which is commonly called depression. Instead of returning for my sophomore year of college, I had to take a semester off for my mental being and my spiritual health, which I learned soon. I went on a lot of walks with my dog, and for the first time, I had to actually learn how to cope. I started blogging on WordPress. I learned to listen to music on apps like 8-Tracks before Spotify reached hyper popularity. And I found a lot of community in online spaces where self-taught astrologers could simplify things in lighthearted ways. In addition to books, YouTube and blogs like Tumblr, where astrologers shared their experiences and their knowledge. They made the basics approachable in ways I didn't realize I wasn't fully absorbing until then. This was a very popular blog at the time. It was Tumblr, Cherry. She's still very good. I think she still posts. So I also learned something surprisingly practical. Green tea has calming properties, which meant it treated me far better than coffee ever could. I began to drink a lot of green tea and a lot of matcha. Of course, luckily, we're so fortunate to have so many coffee shops now that serve both, which is great. The Buzz, that's one of my favorites. And I found my astrology had a shape a little bit, right? I learned through books, I learned through Tumblr, but I also had to really learn through sites like astro.com and Cafe Astrology, places that calculated birth charts long before there were a dozen of apps on the market. They also had really easy to understand descriptions on the signs. So, for example, if you were an Aries, and you don't feel like an Aries, it's because there's so much more energies within you that are guiding you, that are shaping your journey. Reading charts became a skill I practiced intuitively, not something that was so automated for me. And during college, I learned community mattered to me, whether it was informal, online, or slowly built through curiosity and through conversation. Fulfillment came from experiences like the PR Society and service organizations I joined, philanthropic, professional, in nature. Moments during these years, of course, were joyful, of course, were challenging, but all of them added to the dimension of who I was becoming. I realized that the people we love and who love us back shape us, personality and character alike. As you can see, my sister is featured a lot on this slide. My mom's not, but she doesn't like photos, so that's why. And I wasn't trying to define myself. I was trying to live and learn through others. Some of these photos feature friends from middle school, from college, and after college. All of them shaped me. All of them shaped my communication skills. They shaped my confidence. My identity became less about a single path and more about relationships, of course, interest, and values that grounded me through change. I learned that growth didn't always come from force or upheaval, like when I first began in 1819. Often it came from quieter moments and greater acceptance that I had known in my youth. So on this slide here, you can see an oracle card from Creative Roots, which is a metaphysical shop on Ryan Street. They have really great stuff there. A lot of the crystals featured are on communication, balanced emotions. And of course, I have to charge them every week, so. And my coping evolved. So I had a dog previously, now I have a hedgehog, Mona. She sometimes guides me in my meditations, grumpily, but she's there. And I learned through YouTube, meditations, guided meditations, instrumentals, through apps, through journaling, yoga. I would do yoga solo, or I practice downtown at Mantra. Visiting local bookstores like the Charm Page, or finding kindred spirits at Creative Roots, instead of too much doom scrolling. And sound too become a grounding tool, another language for nervous system regulation and healing rather than overwhelm. And in stillness, I began to notice how much my relationships of all kinds had changed, which means sometimes it's so important that you have to match your availability, not just with your coworkers, but with your friends and with yourself. As my astrology practice grew over 10 years, it became more energy-based and relational, shaped by friends and people, like from Fusion 5, I met along my journey, shared rather than solitary. Though I did learn a lot from looking up celebrity birth charts or love interests from friends, today's modern spirituality, for me, is about agency. I choose how and where I show up and how I allow my energy to flow through the world. You can see on this slide there's some chakra balancing crystals. I believe it's from Creative Roots, but it was a gift, so I'm not really sure. So, the city's putting on an event very soon, Downtown in Bloom, next Thursday. There will be art, there'll be crafts, there'll be drinks. It's going to be so much fun. I will be there servicing birth chart readings. All you need is your place of birth, your time, which some people don't know their time, so it is on your birth certificate, or maybe you need to call your mom. So bring in the details of when you came into the world, and I can read you your energies. I can tell you a little bit about your personality. I did a symphony event last year, and I made a cop cry, so I might be okay, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jazmin.